Southern Shores is a very unique environment. It is a collision of different climates and different pockets of plants and animals. The zones of a barrier island are all represented in Southern Shores. We have dunes, we have the ocean side of the dune, the wayward side of the dune, we have maritime forest, and we have marshland. So it's very unique. So the really interesting part of that is we have species that exist together that probably wouldn't exist together in another area inland. So we have some of our southernmost species, this is their northernmost range, and we have northern species that may exist much further south, but they collide with those southern species that have come way up the coast. And it's changing all the time. We have lots of storms, we have warm currents and cold currents. Some years are very cold, some years, as you know, are mild, which is why we love to live here. The species that are very interesting are some of the ones that exist here and nowhere else. Like we have a Yaupon holly that has orange berries. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It is used in ornamental gardens, kind of like a boxwood would be. And the natives used to use this tree as a sort of ipecac, and it has high caffeine, and soldiers in the Civil War used to use it as a tea. We have live oaks. Live oaks are just a fascinating tree. They can be shaped and twisted by the salt and the wind. They're a very hard wood. They're slow growing. In fact, Old Ironsides was made from live oak. So something else you might find on your property is the American persimmon. It is a delicious fruit if you like persimmon, if you like to make jams or jellies or pies. Look for it in the fall. It's a beautiful fruit. It looks like a giant orange-yellow berry. It is also a favorite of wildlife. It's not a big tree, so this might be a fun tree to keep when you're clearing your property. So one of the most unique and fabled trees you might find on your property, and the first time you see it, you will want to cut it down. It has huge spikes on it, but resist the temptation, keep the tree. It's a host for giant swallowtails. The toothache tree or prickly ash is definitely a tree you want to keep. It has some lore with it as well. The Native Americans used to use it to numb their gums. There's a xanthoxylum phytochemical within the bark, and chewing on the bark or twigs would numb the mouth or create a tingling, numbing sensation, thus the name toothache tree. The loblolly pine is an important lumber tree even to this day, and it is used for pulp and lumber. So very important tree. You'll find it in your backyard. It has an enormously long taproot when it's young, and it grows very tall, and from 1917 to the mid-1930s, it was the primary product of a huge lumber operation right here in Southern Shores. Tram roads ran all the way through Duck Woods to Gingite Creek, where the logs were loaded onto boats. So these are just some of the more interesting species you'll see, the trees, the big things, the things that we want shade for and that we like to play under. There's lots of different species that you'll find in your backyard, and I encourage you to just hunt it out and kind of be aware of what is there before you start hacking away or purchasing new plants. We have blueberries, we have lots of different shrubs, wax myrtle, things that you wouldn't think in the jungle setting that you've inherited that is beautiful, but they really are beautiful plants. And native plants that attract wildlife, butterflies, lots of beautiful natural landscaping plants. So be creative in your thinking when you move here. So I encourage you to explore your own backyard, hike through Southern Shores, get to know it. It's a beautiful place to live and play.